Yeah, here we go. This feels Creasy-esque.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah,
I think so, definitely. I was gonna bring mine, but they were aviators. I was like, this defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah. Someone's got to be able to see. An ex-CIA operative, closer to the bottom of a bottle than the bottom of a barrel.
Oh, good one.
Thanks, bro.
No problem.
Gets a job as a bodyguard of a young woman. She teaches him a new lease on life. Yet, captured by the mob, the cartel, this CIA operative has to decide what's more important. Revenge? Whatever. Actually, revenge. That's the only thing that matters. All this can only mean one thing. There it is.
Man on Fire.
We're watching Man on Fire on this episode of Retro vs. Remake.
Retro vs. Remake! Forgiveness is between them and God.
That's right.
It's up to me to arrange the meeting.
You know, I started that whole thing. I was like, you know what? The setup is more important than the middle. It doesn't matter.
The setup is then he goes and kills everyone.
Exactly.
That's the rest of it.
I lost steam after the bottom of the barrel.
Okay. Hey, that was fucking good. I liked it. I dug it. Didn't see it coming. You don't have anything written down in front of you, so it's not like I could be like, oh, I see what you did there. Mm-hmm. This is poetry from the mind, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Retro vs. Remake.
Retro vs. Remake.
I'm Dan Farley.
I'm Reggie Parker.
And here we go. We're talking about Man on Fire, the 1987 version, and the 2005?
2004, I believe.
4? I was close, somewhere.
Super close.
I was sandwiching it.
Well, I'll just for the audience, real quick. Man on Fire, 1987. It's an action indie film directed by Ellie Jamiroquai?
Jamiroquai? Fucking Jamiroquai made this movie?
That's great.
Virtual insanity!
Let's see, not that matters. The music was composed by John Scott, but starring Scott Glenn, Joe Pesci,
Hell yeah,
Jade Molly, Brooke Adams, Jonathan Pryce, Danny Aiello, which I really love, and Laura Morante. That's enough, people.
Yes.
Screenplay by L.A. Jamiroquai, the director, screenwriter combo.
Yes.
Man on Fire, 2004. Directed by Tony Scott. Music by Harry Gregson Williams and Lisa Gerrard. Screenplay by Brian Helgeland. Starring Denzel Washington, Dakota Fanning, Christopher Walken, Rodger Mitchell, Mark Anthony. That is Mark Anthony.
It sure was.
Mickey Rourke, and Rachel Ticotin, whoever you are.
There she is.
And that's
yes.
That's
the 2004 version.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. So, what were your first impressions of this movie?
Thank you.
No problem.
Right in.
Yes.
First experience with the films. I've never seen the 87 film, as you guys may remember from our last episode.
These are also all based on a book, by the way, Man on Fire.
That's a great point.
Yes.
These films are both based on the popular novel of the same name, Man on Fire, by A.J. Quinnell. This character from Man on Fire was so popular he did like several films.
Yeah, he does. Creasy
several books on this this film. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Totally makes sense.
It's a fun character.
Yes.
And a lot of...
Although I will say, spoiler alert, everybody, there's no sequels to these movies because it doesn't work out.
No.
I guess, yes. We'll get into that.
Whatever. Yeah, no, first experience, 2004 is Man on Fire. Like, probably the rest of the damn country, when that came out, like, I don't know, that felt like an event.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, go ahead, yes.
Oh, yeah.
No, you go ahead.
But, 2004, so at this point, I'm basically like junior in high school. So, yeah, high schoolers, revenge flicks, starring Denzel Washington. Oh, yeah, that shit was hidden, bro.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember that. But, like we talked about in the last episode on the Bird Occasion, if you haven't seen it, watch that shit.
Yes.
The 87 film, I wasn't even aware that it existed.
Yeah.
Would have completely slipped my mind. But,
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why I'm here, man.
I was a teenager and there was a lot of guns, so that was my first experience.
That's true. I must say that my first experience was I knew of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it in the movie theater, but I knew of it. This is like the post. Also, at this point in my life, I was like a sophomore in college and considered most of my life to be partying instead of doing things. So I don't know, like when that came out, it kind of flew under the radar for me. Yeah. But I was like, whatever. I thought it's okay. I know what it is. I'm not gonna go see it. Whatever. And then I was above on Somerset Street in New Brunswick, New Jersey. There used to be my friend Frederick Hahn. Fred Hahn, friend of the show.
Man of the people.
We were smoking weed out of my bong, which was named Nino Brown,
nice.
By the way, and we were smoking out of it and watching. He was like, "I got Man on Fire," and I was like, "Let's watch it." And we watched it. And Fred also had a window that was a fake window that led to nothing, It was into an empty room. I digress. So we were watching Man on Fire, and from the word go, I was like, "What is this?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
And then it just progressed into holy shit, this movie is amazing.
Yeah.
It really blew me the fuck away. And I will say, stating this right now, and this is a bold statement.
Okay.
This is the best Denzel Washington movie ever.
That's a bold
I know. And I take
statement.
into account Training Day, I take into account
Right.
Glory,
Yeah, Glory,
Malcolm X, fucking anything. Any movie. Virtuosity, I don't care. I would say this is by far my favorite Denzel movie, and I think he's actually the best in this movie.
I can go there with you because this is contextually the culmination of the career to this point.
Yes,
and distilled into the purest form of Denzel you could take.
Correct. It's it's almost like the whole movie is basically saying, "Oh, don't forget about me, motherfuckers." That's the whole movie, and that's what Denzel's career has been. It's hey, he could have won an Academy Award for Malcolm X, The Hurricane, everything, and then he wins for Training Day. Well, he wins for Training Day, and you're like, okay, but everyone kind of puts him aside because there's De Niro, there's Al Pacino, but then that movie's don't forget about me, motherfuckers. I'm better than everyone.
No, he is because to be perfectly frank, and we'll get into that with the synopsis, and as we talk about, this is a pretty paint by the numbers revenge flick.
Yes.
But you are right. What Denzel brings to the
insane.
It's nuts.
Insane, and especially when you compare the two movies.
Mm-hmm.
And for the record, the '87 movie, I was not aware that it even existed until I saw I wanted to watch Man on Fire, and I clicked on the Fire Stick. You have the search bar, and Man on Fire 1987 came up, and I was like, "What is this?" And then did a minimal amount of research and said, "Reggie, we should do this on Retro Fest Remake because I want to talk about Man on Fire, Denzel."
I've got some positive things to say about both films, so I can appreciate that.
I got positive things to say for sure.
For sure,
but
I get what you mean. Rewatching Man on Fire, the 2004 film, this movie.
It's so fucking good.
It's good, and it
so good.
Only works if Denzel is good.
I will also say it only works if Denzel's good and Dakota Fanning is good.
Yep.
Dakota Fanning knocks it out of the fucking park in this
fair.
movie.
Very fair. That's
if it's not the amount of screen time she has and the amount of chemistry that they have, if she's not as good as she is, this movie fucking stinks. No matter how good Denzel is.
Yeah. Both films are predicated on the fact that you have to like the bodyguard girl combo.
Yes.
And I think that in a lot of ways, both films find their own way to do that, which will be discussed shortly. But so for you, the '87 film was this podcast as well.
Yes, this is the first time I watched it.
That's the first foray.
Yes.
I'm just gonna hit a quick synopsis so we can really just
let's go.
We usually bullshit around here, and I just want to get straight to it. All right, again, straight off the dome, because I just inhaled these fucking movies.
Yes.
Like Kirk Cousins did. hey, that's an inside joke. I don't give a fuck about that guy. So, I'll probably cut that.
Whatever.
I probably won't.
I don't care.
Creasy, an ex-CIA agent.
John Creasy.
Yeah.
I think he's John Creasy.
I think it's John in both.
I think
That's fair.
So.
That's fair. I was just
who cares?
splitting the difference just in case. But yeah.
Just beat it, Dick.
Fuck it. You can never.
Just for the sake of continuity, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Creasy is an ex-CIA agent who's seen better days. He's currently an alcoholic, and his skills aren't as sharp as they used to be. Desperate for a new job, he takes on a job offered to him by his friend.
His friend, yeah.
Who is also an ex-CIA agent. And, John's not thrilled initially at this job because it involves a kid.
Yeah.
Kid, I don't like working with kids.
Yeah.
Well, over time, this kid's able to take that gruff exterior of Creasy and find him a new piece of humanity and heart.
It gives him a reason to live.
A reason to live, a reason to be. Just when things are going great in this relationship, the kid is ripped from her family by kidnappers. Creasy, being the man that he is, will not take that lying down. He's injured when the kid is kidnapped, but recovers quickly to take his revenge. Systematically, he takes down crime families in both films, and ultimately everyone knows that Creasy is a man on fire and someone not to be messed with.
That's true.
By the end of the film, we find out whether or not this kid gets saved and whether John gets his revenge and his redemption.
Yes.
In some ways, smarter. In some ways, dumber.
Yes.
But that's for you to discover on this episode of Retro vs. Remake.
Yes.
But yeah, that's ultimately it. We got
That's basically the same thing.
ex-CIA agent who, tough as shit, but definitely drunk now. Who
is he drunk in Man on Fire? They kind of allude to it, but he has just more PTSD.
Yeah.
I think that and it's he's going through it because he has a beard in the '87 version.
He's got a beard and circular glasses.
And circular glasses, and his hair is a little shaggier.
Which, oh my God, I've got not a great beard. I don't grow facial hair too well, but I've got circular glasses, a drink, and a beard. Wait a minute.
What was Beirut like?
It was rough. It was rough.
What was Joe Pesci like in Beirut?
Joe Pesci, by the way.
Joe Pesci.
I liked him in this, by the way.
Did you? It's so clear that he did not listen to the fucking script.
No,
he's like, yeah, I got it. Let me just go.
We're going to talk about this so hard, but honestly, the pick of Joe Pesci and Christopher Walken to be the friends, I like.
Fine with it. That's fine with me both.
That's exactly the right tone for what that character needs to do.
Exactly. Except Joe Pesci's hair. Mm-hmm. Oh my God!
Wow, I've never seen him with the hair like that.
Yes, it's so flowing. Yeah, it's like a goddamn horse's mane.
He had a mane.
Yeah, he was crazy. A mane, and yet he's the size of a jockey.
And when he's playing, we'll talk about it. When he's playing guitar,
Johnny Be Good, which I would love to get a cover of Johnny Be Good
by Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. Fucking, I think that won the Grammy for greatest fucking song in the world.
It was
Johnny Be Good.
It really should have been. But anyway, ex-CIA agent who now his new job is taking care of a kid.
Yeah.
He's reluctant at first. The kid's able to
grows on him.
Yeah, grows on him, warms his heart. They have a whole relationship, and that relationship gets torn from them by criminals. And when that happens, these criminals don't know. They done fucked up.
Yeah.
Because
they poked the bear. They poked the Creasy bear.
The Creasy bear. Hey. And that's it. And after that, we do revenge by numbers.
Yes. Then systematically kill.
I love it.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about it, let's jump right into it. One note that I'm going to make early because whatever. Tony Scott, who's the director of the remake, was originally slated to be the director of the original, but they thought he was a little too green, a little too new to take on such a big project. Yeah. And honestly, they should have let Tony Scott.
They should have. Absolutely, they should have. And they also tried to get Sergio Leone.
Yeah.
And to be the friend in the Joe Pesci role, and then again as the Christopher Walken role, tried to get Marlon Brando.
Wow.
And Robert De Niro in the.
They were thinking De Niro.
Yeah, they wanted De Niro but they wanted him for both times.
Really?
And then Marlon Brando was the friend in both.
Wow.
So that's why they ended up doing the score together, by the way.
That would have been sick.
Yeah, that would have been... You know what? It would have been really sick in the 87 version.
Yeah.
But...
It would have been really sick.
It would have been... for the 2004, it would have been sick, but I think it's better this way.
Yeah.
I think it's much better this way.
Absolutely. And the only other note I'm going to make, because after this we can just dive into just characters purely.
Yeah.
in the '87 film, it takes place in Italy.
Yes.
And it's like a mafia angle. That's why Danny Aiello's in the fucking movie.
Because he's clearly,
Italian. And like they kind of updated for 2004 instead of being Italy, which at the time still could have worked, but like I think taking this like Mexican cartel angle, it was more modernized.
Which is actually, but it's also ripped from the headlines of that it's actually true. Oh,
sorry,
it's all good.
No, it's not all good.
It's okay.
It's okay. My bad. But
check your ass. I gotta go. Beep beep.
But yeah, definitely ripped from headlines, and to that point, they try to ground this 2004 film in realism because they say every
90 seconds. Or something like that.
There's a kidnapping in Mexico, and I thought that like taking this like realism angle.
That's so good.
And having like the journalists involved and like these different things.
And
it just kind of elevated the
from the word go. You know, like he has to do this, like he has to be on his like the game, but then it's almost like you're aware of this world and like that it slowly slips to the back of your head, that it comes right forward again, whereas the other one's like, hey, we're having a good time at Lake Cuomo.
Yeah. When the original film was originally like reviewed, a lot of people said that it was like felt like a series of scenes.
Yes.
Like I would say that we're getting there, but like this remake is a very cohesive film that like
it's clean.
It's clean and it's planned. Like they know where they want to go with the film. So
yes.
But anyway, like the entire point though is like when we speak about '87, we're gonna be talking about Italy.
Yes.
When we speak about 2004, we're gonna be talking about Mexico, even though the general premise still stands.
Yes.
Let's jump right into
our
Creasy's.
To our Creasy's.
In the 1987 film, Scott Glenn plays Creasy.
After Saigon and Beirut, it looked like a pretty routine assignment to John Creasy.
And in 2004, Denzel Washington plays John Creasy.
I don't know. Bodyguard's got to be close to people. I'm no good at that.
Yes.
The XAI agent.
And it's great that Denzel kills him in Training Day.
Yeah.
Kills Scott Glenn.
Boom! Scott Glenn. Who, like, people were kind of like, they were on the fence about the Scott Glenn guy.
I don't think he does particularly, like, a bad job. He's not very good.
Here's the thing. I'm like, the early parts of the film, which again was part of some of the early reviews, feels like a bit of a character study. I felt that Glenn was really good at having this like sensitive character, like this like Creasy that just feels like almost like depressed, glum, and like I think he captured that really well. And I do think that like his relationship with the girl, although it kind of gave me some like Leon the Professional vibes.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it was like kind of Lolita-esque.
It was creepy.
It was a little fucking creepy, man. It was
like, yo, they're fucking, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
It's really creepy.
Like,
it's not...
Like at one point the girl is jealous of her own mother.
Yes.
Because there's like...
He hugs her.
Yeah. So like, I will say this, that like Scott Glenn finds a way to like navigate that space, because it could have been just like outright creepy, but he does still have like this sort of like guardian sense about him. But like there is nothing about Scott Glenn that reads tough.
No.
At any point in
the movie.
Even with all the gunplay and stuff like that, Scott Glenn is like a sensitive guy.
I will say this about Scott Glenn is that he does look like what that guy would look like.
I agree.
He was like,
I agree.
He's like unassuming, but like, I don't know. Like Denzel there's so much more under the surface of Denzel. Like it's like you could clearly tell when Scott Glenn is acting. You know what I mean? Like he's sitting there like, I'm so upset about Beirut. Like he's thinking about it. He's shaking his head like, oh, in CIA, whereas Denzel is just staring out the window. It's a lot different.
Yeah, like Scott Glenn's tone throughout the film never really changes.
No, not at all.
He's always like, I'm here.
Here I am. Hey, I got you this book.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
They burned my hands. Yeah, where's the girl? Like, Scott Glenn does, I think, to a certain extent, I like more of like, when he's really cooking, which is also what's kind of creepy about it, is when him and the girl are interacting. Like, they have...
Yeah.
this weirdly decent chemistry.
It's decent to some degree, though, but it is like, it's very much like a forbidden love type of
100%.
story. That it's like, what am I watching?
Yeah,
like,
that's a question.
get her away from her. And then I just want to go in there and be like to her father, like, Sosa, what are you doing? Which is, by the way, the same actor that plays Sosa in Scarface.
You know what a Hassa is?
You know,
like,
you expect me to believe Scott Glenn was a pedophile because Sosa says he was?
I mean, I would believe Scott Glenn was a pedophile in this film.
Believe you,
which
Scott.
is, speaking of acting,
He's the same exact guy, by the way, in both movies.
when he's teaching the girl how to like
Run.
after the race, that little thing they do across the gate with their like they're kind of like walk across the gate with their hands, and I'm like, this is odd.
Yeah, it's like, you guys should get used to this view.
Yeah.
All I'm saying. Because one of these getting locked up.
Yeah,
And it's not the little girl.
yeah. I think that's a huge distraction throughout the film. That like Scott Glenn is in love with the girl.
Yes, and the little girl is very in love with him. Very in love. Like that, she does that, and then the one scene, I mean, we'll get into more of this stuff, but the one scene when she twists her ankle when they're having the running race, and she falls and twists her ankle because someone else tripped her, and like he's bandaging her up all sensuously, like holding, like, oh, this might hurt. Then she gets all upset with him and runs away in jealousy.
Yes.
Runs away, hobbling, like it's the dumbest look.
Yeah.
The dumbest, like her, like, it's so melodramatic and so, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and it's like, I will say this about the 87 film. There's a way to do this and make it feel like you're in control. I didn't feel like the 87 film was in control of this narrative.
No.
Like, I don't think that they, like, planned to make it this fucking creepy.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
Like, yeah.
I almost thought, like, for a second, I thought that the kidnappers were from Child Protective Services.
I can
like,
see
just
that.
be like, we gotta get her out.
I can see that.
No, I want to go back to my Creasy.
But, like, I will say that, again, the thing that jumps out to me of Scott Glenn and his circular glasses is that he feels...
Denzel has them, too.
This is true.
Yeah.
It's true. But he does feel like a very sensitive guy who's clearly affected by his past. Almost to the point of, like, paralysis. Like, he can't even be, like, a real human anymore. And, like, I don't think that the movie challenges him to put on a persona. Like, he doesn't... Like, Denzel has to take time out to be like, all right, am I looking normal here?
Yeah.
Like he's on a balancing act because he needs the job and he needs to make sure that he, like, appears sober at times. Denzel has to do so much more than Scott.
Oh, he does.
So much more.
And,
and he does, by the way.
But by the way, there's a point of after, like, he like shows up at the race. In the 87 version, he shows up at a running race at the school, and he's like rooting for her, like, come on. It's like, it almost feels completely unearned. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, there's no, like, why are you rooting for her now? Like, why are you, like, whereas Denzel and Dakota Fanning slowly build this thing.
Yeah.
That you're like, okay. And then by the time he's watching her swim, that you believe that he's like, fucking, go swim.
Yeah. I think just because we're going to have to talk about the relationship throughout this, I'm also going to just bring in the girl right now.
Yes.
In the 1987 film, Jade Malley plays Samantha.
We have Samantha Valetta. The police refusal to let you pay the ransom is unacceptable to us.
Yep. And Dakota Fanning plays Peter Ramos.
Have you protected a lot of children before, Mr. Creasy?
Just when I think Peter
Ramos,
I think Dakota Fanning.
I was thinking that too. Now, wisely, in the 2004 film, they bring the age down, right?
Yes.
Like, Dakota Fanning, 9 years old tops.
Tops, yeah.
Tops. Versus, like, Samantha feels like 11 to, like, not 13, but like 11, like 12-ish.
12.
Like, she's bordering on that point, like, she might hit puberty, right?
Yes.
which is awkward for everyone involved, especially
Literally.
us, the audience. Dakota Fanning does a phenomenal job being like a little fucking girl.
Yeah, a precocious little girl.
Mhm.
That it's not like it's the way they do their relationship is so much more believable.
Yeah.
and so much more less creepy. It's really how that like that's how you want that to build.
Right.
Like it's I like you, I want to protect you, and damn it, you're a good kid. And hey, this guy's protecting me. I like him a lot,
Right.
and he's watching out for me.
Yeah.
and it's naturally very good.
Yeah, and that goes back to the power of Denzel and his ability to like he has this persona where he's like, oh my god, like I gotta watch this kid. What the
Yeah.
fuck? But like he's a human, right?
Correct.
And he's a religious man, which comes out throughout the film. So like he's not gonna be just outright a dick to a small child. I mean, you really couldn't.
Would you say he's religious?
Only in the sense that he has a lot of knowledge about the Bible.
Okay, I will give you that.
I'm
He
not
does.
saying that like because given the knowledge that he has of the Bible, you would think he'd make different life choices.
Yes. Well, this is what I think.
Mhm.
I think he wants to be religious
I can see that.
because he wants redemption. He wants forgiveness
Right.
for everything he's done.
Right.
But I don't think he's worthy of it, and
Well-
he doesn't actually believe it.
Right. So like here's again another good example. When we're talking about give me the math, Scott. When we're talking about Scott Glenn in the original film, like he's hesitant to work with a kid because I guess he had worked with a kid in the past. And the movie literally has to show you him
Holding
carrying
a kid.
like a dying child in his hands.
I think it's dead.
I think
Right,
so too.
yeah.
For the yeah.
But
he's
in the
dead.
moment, yeah. I mean, even in the flashback, it's dead.
Yeah, kids.
And they do the silent scream, the
So like you have to show him in his past in action. Versus Denzel, like everything is sort of implied, and Denzel's acting lets you know how he's been affected by his career and stuff like that. And I think that playing into his alcoholism works really well because like we're seeing all these moments of him interacting with the Christopher Walken character.
Yes.
With the parents and him like having to hide the fact that he's a drinker and stuff like that. Like all of this is played out. And again, I mean, just I'm sorry, Denzel.
He fucking kills it.
He's obviously a better actor.
Yeah,
than
he's
Scott.
way better.
I mean, like, it's
And not that, but his drunk work.
Yeah.
He's so good at being drunk.
so good.
Like, and like that blackout, like leaning, like looking through the window by himself when he's just sitting there
Even the way he like puts the bottle back behind him
behind him, yeah.
when someone's coming and stuff like that. Like I don't know. His drunk work is really good.
It's really good.
And like there's those different moments in the film where when he first meets the mother and she's like, oh, what do you want to drink? He's like, yeah, I'll take a fucking Jack and water.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Immediately.
and you can see like Mark Anthony or whatever character kind of like eyeing him because we know he has this like drinking tendency.
Yes.
Like it's just all handled.
And also, like, Mark Anthony, like, that's great, too. Like, he's kind of honest in his flaws. Like,
Yeah.
he knows, like, first of all, he's like, yeah, I'm a fucking ruthless killer.
Yeah.
I will kill everyone and whatever. But it's like, listen, you get what you pay for. And I
He told him.
can't stop it. I'll try my best. And I'm the best guy that you're going to have
Yeah.
to do it by himself.
Well-
but also, he's like, oh, why are you so cheap? I drink.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, here's the other thing that makes that work because, like, again, this Creasy, the 2004 Creasy, is so much more layered than the other one. I mean, it's not even close. But like, the setup is different. Like, the idea, Mark Anthony's character knows, based off of what we learned from his lawyer and stuff like that, that, like, the only purpose for Creasy to be there in this scenario is for insurance money.
Yes.
They're like, hey, look, if we're going to keep our insurance, we need a bodyguard. I don't want to spend too much money. I'm going to get this fucking guy.
Yeah, especially because, spoiler alert in the movie, that he's behind it all. So he knows he's playing it out, so why dump more money? And he's doing it to get the insurance money to begin with. So why put money into him when I'm just going to... And then also, he's bringing a guy who's clearly like a war criminal, kind of.
Yeah.
At least kind of a war criminal, depending on what side you want to look at. Like, if you're on the wrong side of that guy's pretty much the angel of death coming at you. And that's how they make him out to be, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're going to hire a guy to protect your daughter, one, you could blame him.
Right.
And because he's a drunk. So you can blame him.
Yep.
Number two, if he gets killed in and his daughter getting kidnapped, one less mass murderer on our hands. So,
yeah, and the issue that the '87 film has to deal with is that the central premise is that they need him to be.
They definitely need him,
right? So, like, because of the kidnappings in the Italian,
we need you, Creasy.
Right. So Creasy needs to be on his shit. They imply that he's kind of off his shit, but like they don't do a great job.
No, they
portraying him as like washed up. Like Scott Glenn being all moody and shit does that, but like no one else is aware that he.
No, except Joe Pesci.
Yeah, but like
yeah,
you know that's kind of like between friends and the same dynamic. Christopher Walken knows that like this guy may be off a step, but he even mentioned it. He was like, "Hey, you."
At half speed is still pretty goddamn good.
Yeah. Man, that dynamic was really...
Between the two of them, Walken and Denzel.
Oh, man.
It's so good. We can talk about Walken right now.
Let's do it right now. So,
okay, we can talk about Joe Pesci, too.
No, we definitely will. In 1987, Joe Pesci plays David, who's another ex-CIA.
I want you to see this. I found some old friends of ours. You recognize these guys?
And a friend of Creasy, who gets him the job of these people. In 2004, Christopher Walken plays Rayburn.
Depends on how good he is at it. Creasy's art is death. He's about to paint his masterpiece.
Another ex-CIA agent. I like...
Did they say that he's CIA? I don't think so. I think they don't really say. They just say... I think they both just did some...
They're in similar worlds.
Shit.
They're in similar worlds.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I think... off of just pure charisma, I think Pesci is carrying a lot of scenes in this movie.
He does.
Because he's the most fun character.
Yeah, he is. He also, like, I think, and this goes to say a lot for Walken, too, is that, I was reading that Walken and Denzel improv, like, all of their scenes.
Oh, I can imagine that.
And
it feels like...
Yeah, it comes off so good.
They feel like old friends.
Old friends, like, no problem. Like, he was clearly, like, his commanding officer or whatever it was, and that they both did some serious shit, and...
But see, what I like the fact that Walken is older is like we're not expecting him to do anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's credible because they have the scene with Dakota Fanning. Like when I was a young man, he was a younger man.
Yeah.
Like that scene was. I just love the fact that in that film, when that scene happens, like there's a scene where Christopher Walken, Denzel, Dakota, and like Christopher Walken's girlfriend are like kind of reminiscing about the old days, and like this like 9-year-old girl is sitting there is like he's giving her the old war story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which also credits to Dakota Fanning again.
Yeah.
For like credibly keeping up with these people in this conversation.
But at the same time, when I was like 10 years old, if my dad and his friend were telling stories like that, I'd be like, what was happening? Like, and none of them were in the interest of national security.
Exactly.
Okay, they were all like, I remember this one Giants game in fucking 1974.
Yeah.
And
I just felt like Walken, from a casting perspective.
Oh, he's so good.
Good, yes, very good, and also a good age, right?
Great age, perfect.
Like a guy who's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out of the game.
I'm out of the game. Like, and it's
no one
like,
expect me to get back in.
It's like not only that, but somehow I got out of here with my life.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have this woman now.
It appreciates that.
Yes, appreciates. I got money.
Yeah. I got money. I got this young Spanish chick.
Yeah,
you know,
and I love her.
Yeah,
like it's not like it's a farce,
right? But like even in the scenes where I'm trying to remember exactly, but like when Walken has to like explain to like bad guys who like Creasy is, he's like, look, man, his art is murder, and he's making his masterpiece.
Yeah, it's
the way
death.
Yeah. Like, Walken's...
A man could be an artist. Anything, fool, anything. Yo, he's so good. He fucking kills me.
Great. It's like the like right amount. Like, everything is like the right amount. That's what I feel about the 2004 film. Like, I credibly believe that Christopher Walken had this background.
Yep.
I credibly believe that he's like found his peace.
Yep.
And I credibly believe that he's like, listen, you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Like, you're messing with the wrong guy. And like,
Yeah.
you want to mess with me? Fine.
Fine, I
like,
guess.
I'm an old man, it's
Old
over
man.
for me. But like, that
That guy, he's gonna kill all of you.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are fucking up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, no, the best thing to do, stay out of his way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to help him? Just leave him alone.
Yeah. Versus like Pesci, who, by the way, I think he's phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I don't know if phenomenal, but
Phenomenal in the sense that like,
I was kind of like, what the fuck are you doing here?
that, right? Like, what was he doing here? But once he wasn't, I was like, oh, okay, I get why you're in this. Like,
But they kept doing the one thing that they were like trying to make him out that he was like, oh, he's the changed man, but he clearly wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
At all. And saying like, oh, he was, he got with his wife, the woman in his lap, the only woman he's ever loved. Meanwhile, they got married like 2 months ago. They're newlyweds still. Like, love of his life. How does he know?
I get.
I mean, yes, it's a nice sentiment, but all right, calm down. The only woman he's ever loved. All right.
I think what kind of makes Pesci work, because now the more I'm thinking about this, boy, and I feel kind of bad for our boy Scott Glenn, but like, Scott Glenn's actually not giving you much.
No, he's not.
In this like tough guy role, and like Pesci takes up that whole mantle. Like, the only reason Scott Glenn's vigilanteism is believable is because Joe Pesci has sold him as like, okay, if Joe Pesci's like this, then that guy must also be like this. It wasn't like Scott Glenn was just outright like, oh yeah, this guy looks like a murderer. Pesci does that, and right, you're right. You were right to pull back on Phenomenal, because like the closest thing to PTSD that we get from that is him at the wedding with an acoustic guitar.
Yes. So when Joe Pesci is getting married, he's playing Johnny Be Good on an acoustic guitar. Is he hitting the right chord?
Nope.
Nope. Not even close.
Nope.
Does Joe Pesci play guitar?
No.
I bet not.
Clearly not.
Because even the chords he's playing are not chords.
They're not chords.
So,
and then like, I guess as he's like going back into his PTSD, he's like, go.
Like he's reliving a non-flashback, because I'm sure that's how it comes.
Oh, of course. Like when I'm playing Johnny Be Good, I'm
Johnny Be Good. That's what I'm. All of a sudden, I go into like and he can't like unstop screaming, and then he's strumming guitar at the same time till Scott Glenn has to take him out. No, it's over, stop.
And then Pesci takes his beautiful locks and
his mane.
He's like, hey, you're gonna make people think that like.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I was just kidding.
Yeah, good. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I feel like Scott Glenn requires everyone around him
to be better.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, and Denzel makes everyone
look
better.
Worse. Yes, he makes everyone better, but he also makes everyone look worse.
Well, of course. Like,
it's just so much.
Well,
it's just so much better.
Well, here's an example, right? Like the Scott Glenn when he's teaching her how to run. Like, it's just a series of scenes. Like, she's running, he's got a stopwatch. That's his contribution to the film. Fucking Denzel, he's like, wow. He's like, you're a strong swimmer. Why aren't you winning? I'm slow off the blocks. Slow off the blocks.
Yeah, so that's something you can work on. You can't just be faster.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
But that there's two people in this world, trained and untrained.
Trained.
What are you?
Trained. And that, first of all.
So good.
So good. In both actors, by the way. Dakota Fanning.
Yes.
Being that precocious child and just like making us all get behind her.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
that could have easily been a Rocky movie.
Oh, it could have been.
A Rocky montage.
I was sitting there like I was fucking smoking and shit, watching the movie, and I started fucking around with Pri. I was like, this little girl is not a slave to the gun. Nor will she be a slave to the cartel. No. Just doing Denzel.
Doing the fucking.
Ah, man, it was so good.
It was so good.
It was so good.
So good.
Their relationship. Now, going back, because I'm going to jump around a lot here.
That's okay.
I'm
Let's
that
go.
type of
Let's
guy.
do it, baby.
So, Dakota Fanning doing it off the strength of just being cute, and also like, we show that she's capable when they're driving around and they're being kind of like tailed by the cartel.
Yes.
And she's taking down the license plate too. So like that's all the buy-in that we need for her. One, the buying of the swimming scenes, which I think just shows the Creasy, Pita relationship. It was
There was a big one too that they both do. They do it in both movies. Is that they get into an argument and
yes.
they in the car, like she's trying to be friends. Like, I just want to be friends with you. Is that so bad? We want, like, Dakota Fanning's actually just being nice to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't have fucking time to be nice to
Right.
you and whatever. And in the Italian one, she gets out of the car and runs away, which also is very much like, get the fuck back in the car, little bitch.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
and then they meet up in he
Cafe.
finds her in a cafe and she's like crying and wet and it's very sexual. It's, you can cut this.
No question.
I've seen porn start
Yeah.
with less sexual tension than that.
It's so
bad.
tension.
And it's creepy. I was like, am I on a list for watching this movie?
Yeah. It's pretty rough.
And so, but then Dakota Fanning, also, what I'm saying is that when Sam gets out of the car for Scott Glenn, there's no reason for her to get out of the car.
No, she's just being...
She's just like, you little bitch. Just, you little brat, get in the fucking car.
Right.
And then, but when Dakota Fanning gets out, you're like, I think you're right. Like, get it. And she gets out of the front seat and gets immediately in the back seat.
But that is such a stronger statement.
Yes, stronger statement. It's like, no, you drive me.
Right, exactly. We're not friends.
We're not friends.
We're not friends? Cool.
Yeah.
Fucking take me. You know, like that is a much stronger scene. When you go to the 87 film with her getting out of the car, you see this, like, stupid fucking camera. Like, the director, P.U.
There's a couple things. There's a couple shots that I in the 87 that I was like, that's an interesting idea.
There's some good shots, but, like, in this particular case, something I think is overused, and you see it a little bit in the remake, but I think it's just like him paying tribute, I guess, in his own way. But, like, there's so many of this shot where, like, the character's there, a vehicle goes by,
yes,
and then the character's not there. That happens, like,
10 times.
So many times in 87. And I'm like, guys, get a different shot. They do have some good shots.
Do you think that Tony Scott was doing that to show how much better he is than the guy they chose over him?
Yeah.
That he was, this movie was like, fucking eat my dick.
Well, the biggest camera trick that we see in 2004 is, like, they have this, like, weird...
Dude, how much does it remind you of Metal Gear?
It does.
Doesn't it remind you of Metal... If you guys ever played Metal Gear Solid, it kind of feels like that. Like, the way they shoot it, it's kind of like Metal Gear. It's like, oh, like you hear, like, the angels sing. Yeah. And it keeps, like... In the beginning, they cut to... Spoiler alert, they cut to Denzel dying.
Yeah.
Denzel dies at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
But it keeps cutting to hit the scene where he is dying.
Yeah.
But you don't know that he's dying.
Right.
And then it goes back into the present of whatever's going on.
Tony Scott got in his
bag. It's so
like,
good.
It's so
There's
good.
so many good ideas that he's doing.
Yeah.
It's like a video game that you're watching, but it's so realistic. Even when she gets kidnapped and he gets shot and it's silent, you see him, like, get shot. It's so fucking good.
So good.
The way this movie is shot, edited, all of it. The cinematography, the blueness.
The blueness. The beginning of the fucking movie, when they're like going over the cartel, and they give you an example of a cartel, like, kidnapping.
Yeah.
And, like, just the way that's shot.
Yes.
The guy getting his ear cut off, and, like, it showed you from the beginning thematically, like, this is how we're going to shoot this film.
Yeah.
These, like, these cuts with like, one moment something's there, one moment it's not there. The shaky cam
with the subtitles. The way they do the subtitles is so good.
Oh my god, it's a fucking beautiful.
It's
film.
really, the way it's shot is so good. And then they also, like, the first part of it when he's with Pita, it's all like blue shot.
Yeah.
And then when he's killing everyone, it's like yellow. He's the man on fire at that point. You know, everything's shot in yellow.
No, Tony Scott shits on
it. He shits on that movie. There's the one thing, whatever his name is, who cares? Yeah. Fucking loser.
Should have been Tony Scott.
Yeah, should have been Tony Scott both times. But the first one, there's one shot that's really cool that they do when they get to Sosa's house, and he just got there. He's been working there for like a minute, but he's just got there. Like, he's still resentful for doing. and they're showing the exterior of the house, and it's following him as he's walking up the house, but it's through the exterior of the house.
Sure.
And so he like comes in this room. You see him in like the windows, and he's like sitting there like, "Oh God, what are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And he goes out and goes into the other room, and like she's in there. He's like, "Don't be by the windows. You got to get out of my room."
Right.
And you can see, and it follows him throughout the house. It's really cool the way they shoot it. It's really. I think I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." You could hear them, but you're not intimately in the room with them.
That was actually a really solid shot.
Yeah.
And I actually think that once it turns to like the vigilante angle, I think that the film, in terms of some of the shots, gets a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, some of it. Also, I think that just Italy in general is an interesting place to shoot.
Yeah.
Like it's very like everything's just so old. But some of it is like this is. Like with the bad guy's lair,
right?
Like it was like a river with a boat, and like what the fuck? What are you guys, pirates? What's going on here? It's like, but I kind of believed it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like I thought it was ridiculous, but I also kind of thought, yeah, maybe these guys would hang out there.
I get that.
And even like his the place that he's staying at, that giant building, that like Joe Pesci's like, oh, no one's been here for 20 years, and he gets in there, it's like, who the fuck has not been in here?
Yeah.
Like, what are you serious?
It looks like
it's like the World Trade Center. It's just abandoned.
Yeah, it's like honestly, if someone was like, if you were like, okay, I want to open up an office building, and someone's giving you like a walkthrough, it's like that's what it looked like. It didn't look like
it's vacant. Like, and it's like bare, but yeah,
it didn't look that old. It looked kind of modern. You know, that space looked super modern. Yeah,
Italy looked awesome though.
Italy, yeah,
it really does look awesome. Frankly. Sadly, what I know of Mexico City looked awesome too.
Yeah,
I would be kidnapped. You and I would be kidnapped in a heartbeat. But oh man, it'd be fun.
Yeah, and it's like it's interesting, you know, just the course of time and like you could still do the movie in Italy if you wanted to, but like I think like the update to Mexico really fit the storyline that they wanted to do. You know. Yeah. Again, you could still do Italy, but I think you have to do a lot more heavy lifting to get there. With that story?
Yeah.
I want to talk about this a little bit since since you brought up them walking through the house and talking.
Yeah.
Jade Malley's Samantha, right? This is an odd duck of a character. In the original film, when you first start watching the film, there's a quote from John Steinbeck's of Mice and Men. And it's basically like when Lenny is like, you know, guys like us, we don't got nobody, blah, blah. This girl's favorite book
it's of Mice and
Men. Is of Mice and Men. And then she thinks that like her connection to like
Creasy, out of nowhere, by the way.
Completely out of nowhere.
You ever heard of Mice and Men? No? Yeah, a while ago. Well, that's what we're like. The fuck are you talking about? That's also so much creepier.
It is creepier.
So she... How do I even dissect it? Like Dakota's Fanning's, Peter's obsession with, let's say infatuation with Creasy is like that of a bear.
Like a
teddy bear that's protective, and she wants to like hold it. There's nothing sexual going on. With her, she looks at him like he's a big dummy that is a burden to her, but there's no one else in the world but them two. Bitch, you got parents.
Yeah.
And in this movie, good parents. Like,
well, with the Samantha character, in some ways, not because the father is kind of absentee.
Well, they're both out a lot, but they're not like bad parents.
No, they're not
in the same way that
they're not bad parents. But it's implied though that Samantha's mother is fucking the one of the guys that works for him. So like Samantha being of that age and aware of this, and like when she gets mad at Creasy is when he's hugging.
Yes, because she thinks he's next.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like that shit again, we didn't put the thought out there, the movie did, like this weird like pedo like undercurrent angle
that it's us against the world type shit.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't got no people.
And like
we're each other.
And the fact that like Scott Glenn's Creasy doesn't like shut that down at all, like he just lets that fester
for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and then like I was saying, going back to the part where they're like walking along the fence with their hands touching and shit like that. Like, there's just a lot of moments in the film where, like, they treat each other like they're in this, like, relationship. And fortunately for us in 2004, it's just a little girl who just needs a friend because, her, again, not bad parents, but, like, they're not around that much.
Like, the only thing I could gather out of it, like, it's a foreshadowing thing, but it's stupid. Like, you don't need it, the Mice of Men, because Lenny in the book is, like, he's mentally disabled, and he's huge, and that he's really strong.
Scott Glenn could easily fall into.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so, and he, at one point, the ranch hand, the main ranch hand, who's, like, the owner's son, that no one respects, Curly, who no one respects, is beating him because to get respect from everyone else, until George is like, get him, Lenny.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, that's it, because he told Lenny, don't do anything until I tell you.
Yeah.
Forever, because he keeps getting in trouble. And then he catches Curly's hand and breaks it, and like smashes it to pieces and makes it useless. He's gonna be the dog you call off.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, now, get him. But
that's what she wants.
Yeah.
Right? In all aspects of life. Because, like, even with her mother, she's like, I wish this bitch wasn't fucking everybody.
Yeah.
So I could, like, you know, like, I don't know. It was a weird dynamic. And, like,
it's so stupid, though.
It is stupid.
It's stupid.
In given the, how something happened, or of Mice and Men, like, given where that story goes, Lenny breaks Curly's wife's neck.
Yeah.
He hides. He gets put down.
Yeah.
You know, like
George kills him.
Yeah, like the whole.
It's like they're forcing this and it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
It's a
fit at all.
At all.
It's like a weird connection.
But they keep going back to that well. It's like, no.
I think it's like if some dumbass read of Mice and Men and was like, "Yo, isn't it crazy? Like Lenny was strong.
Yeah.
Like hurt people.
Basically, like he's kind of like that. Just kept coming up in Superman.
Yeah.
You're like, what? So what? They're strong.
Yeah.
Like,
and I guess like, isn't it like crazy? Like George and Lenny can't be separate. Like it feels like they miss all the other points.
Yes.
Of the book.
Yeah. It's like you took that one little part. It's like, you're forgetting about everything else.
Like in the context of this film, let's say we did of Mice and Men angle. It doesn't work.
It doesn't at all.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all.
At all.
Like okay, the only thing you could say is like one's small, one's big, and they're connected.
Yeah.
Like they don't leave each other. They're friends. And they're always gonna look out for each other. That's it. But like that takes out of account all the fucked up things that happen.
Exactly. All the fucked up things. How the American dream is just that.
Yep.
How like you could plan and plan. It doesn't matter because everything's gonna go to shit anyway. It's look. There's nothing.
Yeah, there is actually no real connection.
Yeah, no real connection.
Except
at all
there's a big guy and there's a little guy. Like that's the only connection. And it's like the movie, which again, I don't think Tony Scott, the director, would have fallen into this trap. The movie's like some dumbass was like, yeah, this is what the movie's about.
No, it's not.
And the movie's not about that at all.
It's closer to like what they do with the Bible, like the redemption.
Sure.
Of that he helps the person that he's strong for those that doesn't have a voice. Like he's strong for those that don't have strength. Happy are the meek; they will inherit the earth.
Sure. Well, speaking of the Bible, and when there's, it can be heavy-handed at times, but like the allusions to the Bible in the 2004.
That's what I mean.
Film. Yeah, like, but even Creasy needs that redemption.
Yes, that's what I mean. I agree. It's like, but I also feel like that in the same way that he's like, I'm not worthy of this redemption.
He does not feel worthy at any point.
But also the whole thing, which changes the whole dynamic of him. You realize, like, when he gets shot, when she's getting kidnapped, he's dying from then on. He is literally like, he's bleeding out slowly but surely. The only thing that's keeping him going is his rage.
Right.
Like, he's dying.
Being the man on fire.
He's the man on fire. Like, the only thing, he's literally like, if you want to take this angle, I don't necessarily think you have to, but it's the passion of the Christ. He's going through those steps of like, it's just getting worse and tougher and tougher and before.
The film will allow you to take that
yes,
angle.
that's
like,
what it's
the
trying
film
to do.
isn't shying you away from making that interpretation.
It's getting worse before it's going to get better. By dying is the better. Like...
Well, what was interesting about that is the 87 film does not have the ability to make a point like that.
Thank God.
All. No,
because they would have fucked it up.
Oh,
so much.
It would have been
like
bad.
that's me reading into it, and like that's an interpretation of it.
Sure.
It's not necessarily. They're not coming out like beating me over the head, like go Johnny, go, go. Like,
that's really rough. In the novel,
it was so funny. Anyway,
nah, it's just hilarious. Well, in the novel, the 1980 novel by A.J. Quinnell, there's like a lag time, like right when the kid gets kidnapped, and actually it's very different than both of the films, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But like, there's a period where Creasy recovers that is not there in either of the two films.
he's a little more recovered in '87, though.
I would say so.
He's a little more
so.
like he's not in 2004. He's dying.
Yeah,
like he's not.
He's just like
better.
right back at it.
He could be better if he stopped, but he's like, nope.
No,
I'm just gonna randomly take dips in the pool and bleed everywhere in the pool.
That's weird. No, I
Like,
mean,
can you imagine? I just want to see the one cut of like the pool boy like walking in as soon as he's out. It's like, oh come on! and then it's just him walking like, oh, I gotta like flipping the bullet out and like catching it.
oh man, that'd be a great cut.
No,
But you know, 2004 earned that though, right?
It
like
did.
the fact that he's like, I don't care. I'm gonna go get this kid because like he doesn't have anything else to live for.
we just also express
Yeah,
one thing that's clearly the demarcation between these two films.
sure.
The whole time they're setting up that this guy, John Creasy, is this fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 2004, when he's like, I'm gonna kill them.
Okay.
And that's exactly what he does. He's methodical.
Yes.
He's a fucking machine. You see what they've been talking about this
Right.
whole time.
Right.
We're like, and then Scott Glenn, on the other hand, it's like if I did it. Like, everything is such a sloppy fucking mess.
It is.
Everything is so stupid. Like, Denzel's going up against this cartel, and you're like, I think he's gonna win.
Right.
Like, we were with Scott Glenn, it's like, oh god, like everything is like getting out by the skin of his fucking ass.
He almost gets killed by
Everyone. Every single one almost kills him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even like
It's like literally like, oh, the Terminator against a pickpocket, the Artful Dodger over here. And the Artful
man.
Dodger almost wins.
it's true. It's true.
It's like, what the fuck? Is he a badass or not? And
Yeah, when Scott Glenn, which by the way, here's the other thing too, which, man, I didn't even think about this till just now. I mean, I thought about it, but like, I'm actually thinking about it right now. You can argue that the abduction is his fault.
yes. He could have just kept driving.
Not just that, before that. He takes his kid, he's like, I need a date for a wedding.
Yes.
And he brings the fucking Lolita.
Which, oh god.
Think about it, right?
When he's on the phone, and then she's like, me?
Yeah.
Me? Oh god, it's like,
It's bad.
bitch,
So-
what are you bringing her to this for?
So he's like, I'm going to take this kid I'm protecting. Because like,
This wedding that's outdoors in half a house with
Right.
no roof,
Right.
which kind of looked awesome.
It did look-
It
it
kind
was-
of looked
it was
awesome.
nice,
I was
right.
like, then, listen, you can only have that wedding in Italy, but
right.
it looked pretty cool.
If you're
Like, if you
going-
had that in, I don't know, fucking Cumberland, New Jersey, it wouldn't be so nice, but...
It's crazy. Like when you look at this wedding scene, like Scott Glenn, who like, same thing like in both films, like the little girl is what's kind of bringing him back to like being a functioning member of society. We have all these scenes, like we've already done the racing scene and the hugging, you know, it's a little fucking weird, right? He needs a date for the wedding. He's talking to like Pesci, and he's like,
Joe Pesci's wedding.
yeah, and he's like, you know what? I think I got somebody. And he takes a fucking little girl.
11-year-old girl
Right.
as his date.
Now we find out that like there is an inside person in both films. There's an inside person that tells of her location, and that's how he gets stolen. But like you can argue that had he not taken her on a date, because that's what this is. Let's not fucking lie. Had he not taken this child on a date,
This grooming exercise.
Exactly. Then the kid wouldn't have got kidnapped. And that's what he chose to do.
Fucking disgusting.
It undermines the character.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the grooming thing too, but also, like, the sloppiness. Going back to what you're saying, like, everything he does is so sloppy because, like, why are you taking her to this wedding?
Yeah.
Like, what is it about you that needs to take this child to your friend's wedding?
when he's doing the fake acting of when they put the gun to his head, okay, please just let it, like, just pulls out the gun and blows him away. It's so bad.
So bad.
And meanwhile, like, Denzel's like, oh shit, like, oh, it's on right now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, motherfucker, it's on.
Well, like, because it's 2004 and the father has the daughter going to these piano lessons, like this famous piano guy, which actually is another way to build up Denzel's character. So, like, here we go again, this wedding, taking Scott Glenn's character down because he's a pedophile. Yeah. Not saying Scott Glenn, but the Creasy character.
Creasy character.
Now,
87 Creasy.
87 Creasy. Versus 2004 Creasy, where he's like, hey, look, because we did all this work with the swimming, with the blocks, and everything's going well, and, like, the scene, even when he's, like, walking as she's swimming, he's like,
yeah.
You know, like, that's such a good scene.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just want to swim. And her father, which at this point we don't know this, but her father was like, no, you got to go to the piano lesson so I can fucking get you kidnapped.
Yes.
Which is fucked, by the way.
Yes. Very fucked.
The fact that, like, when Creasy's taking her, it's like, look, you don't want to play piano? This is what you do. You know how to burp? And, like, he's like, every couple minutes, just fucking belch. And you won't have to play piano anymore. It's cute. It builds on those characters a little bit more.
But it's also very simple, and it's like, that would work.
It would work. It would work. But what we don't know at this point is that this plot is already in play. So, like, Creasy sees the same car that him and the girl, which, again, builds up Dakota Fanning's character, the fact that she's writing down license plates, too. So, like, not just a kid. I mean, she is just a kid, but, like, also, like, I'm on my shit. That's awesome. We build more character building between the two with the belching scene, and then we really get to feel the pain of her getting kidnapped.
Yes.
In this sequence.
With discount Benicio del Toro driving the car.
It's fun.
And dude, when she's sitting there, it's such a good picture of, like, if you wanted to have a meme of, like, a panic.
Yeah.
Like a panic attack. Her sitting there, like, holding her head while she's crying and, like, uncontrollably, like, almost like screaming, but she's not screaming.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That's like, this bitch should get an Oscar right there.
She should.
Just for that alone. I mean, she's great in the rest of it, but.
Even Denzel being like, run. Like,
yes. Run!
Run. Like, in the fact that, like, they built this rapport.
Shoots the gun in the air.
Yeah. The fact that they built this rapport that, like, she trusts him. I trust, like, we all trust Creasy, and the fact that she's, like, is mature enough to actually run.
Yeah.
But then that still be a kid enough to do exactly what you're saying, look back and be like, oh my God. Because, like, it's traumatic. Like, what do you want from a child?
Yeah. There's all this gunfight. There's a fucking firefight going off in front of you when you're, 10, 9.
Nah, I wouldn't be
and
able to
like,
handle
Jesus Christ. And meanwhile, she's a rich girl. Like, she doesn't see that on a daily basis.
No.
She sees Creasy Bear. Oh, it's so phenomenal the way they do it. And then she does run, but I love that it's not an issue. Like, the kidnappers just grab her.
Right,
like, immediately.
Right.
It's not like,
we don't need to go
it's not like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi when when Princess Leia's running,
running
and
the woods and shit.
And they're like tripping and falling over. Oh,
So
God, that was
like,
so
no, you're an
fucking
adult.
annoying.
Grab the fucking...
Your 2 steps are faster than her 18 speeding runs.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Man.
Then they and then, like, just the way he gets shot, and, like, everything, the way that shot is so good.
It's amazing. Like, and again, going back to, like you were saying, these different cuts with, like, his actual death later in the film and stuff like that. It's a really, really good movie.
Yeah, it's really just a fucking phenomenal movie. The whole thing is so good from start to finish. And then they do kind of the same thing in Scott Glenn when because you initially see him, he's in a body bag.
Sure.
He's zipped up into a body bag. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
By the way, did you think that the ginger police officer was going to be in on it?
I would have imagined he was.
Yeah.
I felt like
I thought he was too, but he wasn't.
Right.
Right?
No, he wasn't.
No.
No, quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite. And the other guy, like if you flip the guy who was in Mexico, the Mexico City police officer, who...
Oh, I thought he was in on it.
I thought he was too.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
Right.
And he was, who's also Italian, by the way,
Right.
which is weird dynamic to this whole thing.
Because, like, the Mexican...
They do a lot of switching in these movies of, we pull the Al Pacino Cuban movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Close enough.
I thought that the Mexico City guy was in on it to the point, like... Because a lot of people are in on it, right?
Yes.
Like, in the 87 film, there's like okay, so... Let's just jump forward a little bit here. When... I don't really care about that. Actually, I don't even give a fuck who the 87 character is. We'll just talk about 2004 because it's more relevant. When Mickey Rourke's character, Jordan,
Yes.
the attorney, like early on in the movie, like rewatching, I was like, oh, yeah, clearly that's
Yeah, he's a thief.
It was like obviously a bad guy. Like it wasn't even that close. I forget who it was.
Jonathan Pryce?
Was it Jonathan Pryce?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, sick. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, thank God you pay attention. Yeah. So in 87, we had Jonathan Pryce who played Michael, and in 2004, we had Mickey Rourke who played Jordan, the attorney. Jonathan Pryce's betrayal,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's like it's whatever, right? Like, okay,
The one thing that about that turn, like first of all, Mickey Rourke looks like a sleazebag.
he looked
So I was like, okay. he's
and then
done
like
his-
the insurance talk,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, still worked.
And
Like,
also, for someone of Mickey Rourke's caliber, not that I'm saying like, oh, he's fucking De Niro or something like that,
Right.
but it's like he's in that movie for so little, you could have saved a lot of money by just not having Mickey Rourke.
it's
So
what, like, for instance, right? What's the difference?
if I played that role or Mickey Rourke, what's
Right,
the difference?
right? Because like
There is none.
you could even cut the character.
Yeah.
Like the only purpose of Mickey Rourke in the film is
Talk about the
split-
insurance.
Exactly. So like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter at all.
He says it or someone else.
Yeah, anybody else.
You wouldn't
And then
have
they
to,
kill him, and it's very kind of vague who
Yeah,
killed him.
yeah,
Like,
right.
It's like, huh? The
So-
cartel did?
Super vague.
Yeah, it's like, because it wasn't Denzel, because he finds him.
Right.
And he's like, shit, I was going to kill him. Like, and then,
Which
but
is
the Jonathan Pryce, so when Scott Glenn figures out who was it, he's like, oh, that one dude taking the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
He was wound so tight. Have you seen fucking Jonathan Pryce throughout this whole movie? He's like, like so, like every like second, like, oh god, what are we doing? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. They took her, like, took her. Like, he's more worried than Sosa.
He really
by
is.
far. To the point I was like, he's not her father, right?
Right.
Okay, good. And I like had to rewind and be like, no, he's the lawyer. Okay.
Ridiculous.
And when they blew up his office, I was like, did they time that so that he was out of the office?
Dude, I'm even trying to understand the shit that happened
It was
there.
just the most unnatural thing ever. Like, he comes out, he's walking to his Ferrari or
Yeah.
whatever he has. The cars in the Man on Fire were awesome.
Yeah.
The 87 version. Every car was cool as shit. They were like that old school, like, fucking, like, late 60s cars. But he's walking out of his office and it blows up behind him and he
Yeah.
falls over his
Yeah.
Ferrari and he's like, oh, instead of looking like, oh shit, like he just sits between, like Fredo between his fucking knees, like, oh god, like, how did someone react that way?
It's a mess.
I would love it if he just looked like, maybe it was a coincidence. maybe this has nothing to do with the girl.
That been funny as shit.
And Danny Aiello, oh god, the leader of the Italian mafia in Italy is Danny Aiello. Fucking Sal.
We're by the way in a film where everyone is speaking fluent Italian.
Fluent Italian.
He's like, oh,
Not even an accent.
not even.
Hello.
Like he worked at a Brooklyn pizzeria.
Yeah, New Jersey's finest, Danny Aiello. Can I tell a fun Danny Aiello story? So I used to work at a restaurant. It was a bar restaurant. And during the day one day, I used to work with this guy who was a degenerate gambler. And Danny Aiello owns some kind of grocery store in the area.
Okay.
And the degenerate gambler guy was one of the waiters there. He was older at the time, in his 40s. And I was a young buck of, 25. And it was during the day, and I was sitting by the host stand. And out of nowhere, Danny Aiello walked in and said, "Where is the guy's name?"
Yeah.
And he looked and saw him by the bar, went over and beat the shit out of him in the middle of business hours at a restaurant/bar. Beat the fuck out of this dude, took his wallet and walked out the door. And I was like, what the fuck is Sal's Pizza? What the fuck is, like, I'm not helping at all. But why did Sal just walk in here and do this?
That's amazing.
And then I had to go up and say, like, hey man, what the fuck was that about? I was like, I robbed him. And he explained to me that he robbed his grocery store.
That's
I
ridiculous.
was like, and so instead of getting the money back, he just beat the fuck out of him.
Right.
And I assume he got the money back later. But, that's how I was like, did fucking the guy that hires Leon fucking just beat the shit out of you? So
That's amazing.
that's what I thought of. Every time I see Danny Aiello, I think of him walking into that restaurant and beating the fuck out of that guy. That guy who also used to, when it was preseason baseball, used to write on the business cards sports teams and say, "All right, Dan, pick one."
No.
And I would pick it up and say, it was the Florida Marlins. We're betting the Marlins today for preseason baseball.
No good. That's a degenerate.
He was a
boys and
gentleman.
girls.
He was a gentleman and a half.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like the ILO scene.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
The
Like,
fuck?
what is, like, there's a certain
This
point.
is unacceptable.
There's a certain point in the film. It's about when it starts. When you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like,
Who
like
are you?
the Jonathan Pryce thing doesn't
Yeah.
really make a lot of sense.
It doesn't.
When Joe Pesci and Scott Glenn, when they get like the gay guy to try to get the information about like
They kind of felt like they attacked him because he was gay.
Nah, it felt like
They,
that.
first of all, they fully exploited the fact that he was gay.
Yeah.
And how does this guy not know who he is?
I don't know.
He was there.
I don't know. I just love that the guy was like trying to like pull his pants down. He's like, "Oh yeah." And it was like
Just took a gun right in his,
gun in his junk.
right in his dick.
Oh, it's amazing. And now what I will say here is that scene, it's ambiguous, but like that scene sort of elevates the 87 film a little bit because they imply the girl gets hurt.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the 2004 film lets us believe that Dakota Fanning's character has died. This kind of leaning a little bit into the novel because like in the novel, which is different than both films, the girl is killed in the novel.
Yeah.
And brutally, and like there's all kinds of other terrible things that happen to her. Which is why Creasy's revenge is even more like justified.
Justified, yeah.
And like why he's so brutal with them. Like in this 87 film, and is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Like they do a good job of implying like ambiguity as to what happened to her. Because like the gay mobster is like, I told the guys not to touch her, and it's like, what does that mean, right? Like,
and it's not saying that they did it, but it's not saying that they did.
Exactly.
It's
that I will give the 87 film that like it gives you the space to like imagine, I guess, the worst or potentially the best, right? Like in this scenario, but like having that moment allows Scott Glenn's character to just go, fuck it.
Yeah.
And once he does that, like the movie goes about its paces a bit, but like it feels like when I was reading some of the old reviews of it, it does feel like it's two separate movies, right? You got this little character relationship weirdness at the beginning, then you got a kind of like standard vigilante film on the back.
I would say that both do that.
I know.
Both are. It's literally like right in between, right in the middle.
100% agree. However, 2004 has Denzel Washington.
That's correct.
So this standard paint by numbers vigilante film is an extra layer of fun because we have a great actor who's taking all these separate scenes, effectively the same thing. Find a person, torture the person, get more information, so you can find the next person, torture that person, get more information. God damn, is that phone?
Oh,
Denzel does it.
so God. When he, the guy when Scott Clayton gets him in the porn house.
Yeah.
And he ties him in the bathroom, and he's like, "I'm gonna cut your fingers off, then I'm gonna cut off your toes, and then you're gonna, whatever." And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it kind of doesn't do it. I'm like,
exactly.
Fucking
boring.
Yeah, and then Denzel, when he's in the car with him, and he wakes up and his hands are tied, and then he's like, okay, and then asks him the question, and just cuts his finger off, then takes the lighter and solders it. Oh my God, it's
incredible.
It's so like, yep, you want questions? You got questions? Fucking answer. He's like, oh, can I just have a smoke? He's like, yep. Okay, here, smoke. There you go. All right, my friend, off to the next life for you.
But you won't be lonely.
You won't be lonely. And then, boom, put the car off, blow up the car.
So many scenes of Denzel slowly walking away from a horrific torture and murder scene. And he's like, oh yeah, you see this? Like, fucking drug mules put up their assholes.
Yeah.
I put C4 in there, and I got this detonator, and you're gonna die, and I'm gonna need some more information.
He's like, see this? It's a cheap watch. Bought it with a timer. Oh my God, when he does that whole thing.
Wow.
That scene when I was like, I remember watching that for the first time when the police captain, by the way, the corrupt police captain, under a bridge, under like a highway bridge, with like the cars whizzing by below them. And like and he's tied to the
fucking car.
The car with his boxers.
That's so good.
And he's explaining that he put a bomb in his ass. And he's like counting down. He's like, "You got 4 minutes. You ain't got all day. I do. You don't." And like,
it's
and
phenomenal.
then he makes him say like, everyone keeps saying, and this when he fucking.
I love it. Yes,
whispering Denzel is the best fucking, the most intense fucking. Everyone says, I'm a professional, I'm a professional, I'm a professional. And he just keeps hitting him with a little paper, with a little plastic piece of paper. And he's like, I'm a professional, and he's whispering. It's so intimidating, him just whispering.
And you know, like, what makes this particular Creasy work is that's what he would have said.
Yes.
Because that's what he is.
That's what he is.
Professional.
I'm a professional. Like, oh, you're a professional? You want to see a fucking professional?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I do.
What makes this revenge film work so much, right, is that 87, whatever. But 2004.
Honestly, I could be done with talking about the 87 movie.
We're mostly done talking about that. What makes this revenge film work so well is that you have all of these tough guys, and Creasy's one of them, right? These tough guys that do horrible things. Horrible things. And in this particular case, they've done a horrible thing to a child.
Yes.
Right? And Creasy, who, though, yeah, sure, maybe, I don't know, like, who knows where he would take it? I don't know where his ethical line is. We kind of draw it in this life that he lives now. In the past, I don't fucking know. Like, he might have been just like these guys. But another tough guy, it's like a bully, right? Like, you're at school, like, a bully's fucking bullying some kid, and he's like, oh, you fuck with them? You knocked Paulie down?
Well, why don't you try to knock me down?
Why don't you try to knock me down? So, like, all these professionals and tough guys, when push comes to shove...
that are exploiting a child.
Yes.
And a desperate man.
Right. And Denzel being like, if anyone profited from it, if they had anything to do with it, they're going to get it. And, like, it's not just men. Women, anyone that was involved is getting fucked up. But, like, this idea that... Denzel can reduce these people to literal children.
Yes.
Because like, oh, please, let me live.
This is Lawrence Taylor in 1986.
Yeah.
Men playing amongst boys.
That's
like,
right.
this is, oh, you want to be in the sandpit now?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And like, some guys who thought they were about that life, who didn't realize that there was another level to the game.
Yes.
And Denzel, as the actor, and the character, putting another level to this fucking game. I'm sorry, Scott Glenn.
Yeah.
You're a nice guy. You're not Denzel.
You're not Denzel. And it's not even close.
It's not even close.
And to the point that he does these things, that he's such like a mercenary, and you could say what they do so well in this that they don't do with they do it, they say too much.
Yeah.
They show, and like they don't tell, they don't show. Like,
right.
Show, don't tell. And in this, they like in that they're like, no, like he was in these places, no, it was so horrible.
Yeah.
This you just hear about him, and then Creasy here now.
Creasy, yeah.
And then
Creasy here.
Creasy here. You want
Yeah.
Creasy? Creasy here now. And he shows up, and because what they said about him, nothing he does seems so unbelievable. He's in an old person's apartment with a fucking rocket launcher, and you're like, yep. Wish I could be up there with him.
And let me tell you something, and this is very fucking important, audience. All this works, one, because of Denzel, but two, because Dakota Fanning's cute motherfucking ass made us all say, I am willing to watch any level of torture, murder, viciousness. If that's what people are willing to do to that little girl, I don't give a fuck. What happens to them?
That's correct. Exactly.
The first hour of the film is, here's Creasy, he's drunk, you know, we gotta build him up, we gotta build his relationship with Dakota Fanning. And I am being literal. The last hour of the film is, how are we gonna kill these motherfuckers?
Yeah, let's do it, Denzel. How are we gonna do this together? We're in this together. Let's do it. Do you want me to drive?
I am watching this R-rated film with my wife, and we're just like, You know what I mean? Like, no one feels bad about anything happening anymore, which is a testament to the acting skills of Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning. That like, I can't watch films like this. Regularly with I'll take it with my grandmother.
I'll take it a step further. That I was, I don't know, 22.
Sure.
Not even. I was 20, and I was watching this, going like, okay, so like, we got to avenge this fucking girl. We got to fucking avenge this fucking girl. I don't care about anything in my own life. But this poor little girl.
And shout out to Tony Scott, the director. When he gets the book and it's like, I love you, Creasy Bear, and all this little shit. It's much better than some crazy bitch talking about John Steinbeck and like, hey, are we like those murderers from that Great Depression book? It's more like, look at this little girl who's like has a teddy bear that embodies the killer black man. Like, it's so good.
It's so much better. It's so good. It's so good. And then when he goes to the old people's home, like the old, this is why I don't think he is religious, specifically. When he goes to the old people's apartment, and he gets in there, he's like, "Listen, I'm not here to hurt you, but I need your window, and I'm gonna kill these guys." And blah blah blah. Like, why would you do this? Like, that's between them and God. That's you. Who are you to bring forgiveness? He's like, forgive. The Bible says to forgive. He's like, forgiveness is between them and God. I'm here to arrange the meeting.
Right.
Which is one of the coldest lines ever.
Cold.
The coldest.
So cold.
It's like, yeah, bro. Like, it doesn't matter. They could say, I'm so sorry. Right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're gonna die.
No one gives a fuck.
It doesn't. Everybody's gonna die.
It is what it is. I mean,
and so, but him explaining that to it, like, that's literally the opposite of everything, like, that the Christian faith would believe. You know, like, turn the other cheek, blah blah. He's like, no.
Right.
We should not be doing that.
It's not even, like we said, we're done talking about the whole film. I don't care
who
who's in it.
Who gives a
doesn't
shit?
matter, right?
We talked about Danny Aiello and Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci's flowing mane of hair.
I will say this.
And then also, the only thing I'll say, the ending to the 1987 is fucking stupid.
It's a stinker.
It's like, so he gets away, he fakes his own death. Why fake your own death? Who gives a shit?
In 87...
Oh, because the Italian Mafia is going to get you? Go fuck yourself.
In 87, I would say the movie begins with him in the body bag, but actually the movie begins with a stupid-ass quote of Mice and Men. Well, the quote's not stupid. The context is stupid.
Yes.
Has a quote from Of Mice and Men, and then you see him as like, here I am in a body bag.
They finally got me in a body bag.
They get me. But instead of like committing to the motherfucking bit, now to be fair to them, but it's much less stupid. In the book, Creasy does live. When people think he's dead, but it's not as dumb.
No.
This film, the 87 film, he dies, and then by the end of the film, I guess that gender that you were talking about, they all work out some plan where he's alive. But like outside of the context of the book, the novel, where like there's a reason to keep him alive, this just feels like a cheap fucking cop.
That's right. This is the mega happy ending.
This is stupid whack. And, you know, we get to continue this weird-ass relationship with the girl because, like, they meet up after the fact, like, on that balcony. And it's... The good thing about that ending is there's ambiguity as to what happened to the girl.
Yeah.
The bad thing about that ending is we took a moment that, by the way, Denzel Washington taking it across the fucking finish line. Like, the ending, which we will talk about, of 2004, is so much better.
So much better.
So much better than the ending of 87 that, like, I just need to say that the 87 ending is stupid.
Stupid, yes.
They dropped the ball.
It dropped the ball completely. I don't give a shit.
Just let him die.
Yeah, just let him die. Kill him. Kill him.
It would.
It's like you had all
You already
this,
killed him.
Yeah,
You killed him in the first
have
2
the
minutes.
balls. Have the balls to go through with this.
Right,
like,
right.
That's what the problem is. Like, it lacked any... It was like all the motions were there, but it's like the action could have been there, but it wasn't there because it was like clunky. It was like the end of Taxi Driver, which works in Taxi Driver because he's not a fucking mercenary.
Right.
Like, you know, he's some soldier with PTSD, but like it's sloppy, everything he does.
Right.
But
like,
everything he does in this is so sloppy, whereas like Denzel is like, up,
But see,
kill you.
Taxi Driver, it's okay. Like you said,
It's okay
that he's sloppy.
That's the point.
Exactly. He's mentally ill.
Yes.
And he has this ridiculous plan at the end of Taxi Driver. So it's like, okay, like the plan went off as about effectively as you would think for someone who didn't really have a good plan.
No.
Creasy in 87 is supposed to be this amazing mercenary. So when his plan sucks,
yes.
and I mean it sucks from the beginning,
From the rip.
I mean his
What plan?
The
It was to get guns. That's it.
Get guns and point a gun at a gay guy's dick.
Yes.
That was the plan.
And by the way, he gets like 8 guns. They're all the same gun.
I know.
It's like, why do you need 7 guns? They're the same ones.
And because of the way they filmed this, arguably, right, if it all went to shit, because it almost goes to shit so many times, you actually have like open up space where like, maybe Joe Pesci's going to finish the job.
Yeah. I guess that, and for a second I thought it was cool, and then I was just thinking about the practicality of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a terrible idea. He has like the holsters on him with, that are magnets.
Yeah, oh yes.
And I'm like, that's cool. So we're quick. I was like, you would kick it off every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You would your arm would hit it. It's over. Like,
Yeah.
you're never.
Yeah, it's not good.
It doesn't. Also,
a
I like-
regular holster is better than a magnet holster.
Of course. Of course it would be. I'm not even a gun guy, and I know that. Like,
Yeah.
but I just.
And you would probably fuck up the action on your guns so
Yeah.
often.
And did you also think?
Yeah,
If I'm wrong, maybe I'll. If I'm wrong, I'll shut up. Did you think that? You remember the monorail episode of The Simpsons when Marge goes into the other town? She gets the scientist to help him.
Yeah.
When he gets the haircut, didn't he look like Scott Glenn in that movie?
Yeah.
Man on Fire.
No.
When he's got the glasses and the cut up, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I got that haircut."
I like Scott Glenn when he's not supposed to be doing action. Like I don't love it, but like I like it a little bit more because it's like more interesting. The minute he like turns off his brain and is like, "I'm only out for revenge," it's just not very interesting. It's not very interesting at all.
And he's like the limp he has. It's
bad.
First of all, like this guy. If these guys were like mafiosos and like so interconnected, he would have been caught so quickly.
Immediately.
Whereas Denzel's like one by one, like no one sees him kidnap that dude. Discount Benicio del Toro. Nobody sees him. So then he gets more information from that. Then he goes to that club, kills the guy from, oh, you're from New Jersey? I'm from New Jersey.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
Also, going back to Denzel in those scenes, his numerous outfits for the different things he's doing.
Great.
Like the raver Denzel with the like, little like do-rag thing. I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is what Creasy would imply he would wear to a rave so he can kill this guy.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And then the suit.
The suit
is great.
The suit's great.
I don't know why he wears it, but that's fine.
Whatever.
Like, you gotta dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Even like at the end when like, it's not this, so I'm being facetious, but like, the like FUBU looking jersey that he's wearing at the end, just like the fact that he has so many different looks.
With the LA, was it a Dodgers?
I think it might be a Dodgers. It's like the
Dodgers
24
jacket. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
it's not the best jacket.
No, it's not.
No, I'm pretty sure my dad has that same thing that says Little League on it.
But
a Little League coach.
I appreciated, you don't really need it, but it also doesn't hurt to have the journalist.
Oh, I like the journalist.
Yeah.
I like that aspect. And also I like I normally I would say like how much I don't care about the romantic involvement of her and the cop. But I kind of like it.
I think
it's kind of good.
So in the 2004 film, which does not exist in '87, Rachel Ticotin plays Mariana Garcia. I do like that relationship because she's also in a lot of ways like Creasy. Like she doesn't want to fuck that guy.
No. Does she? I think she kind of does.
Oh, maybe she does. I don't know.
I didn't get that. I thought it was kind of like, listen. I think it's kind of like
to get.
Listen, I like I like you as a person, but I'm fucking 45. I'm not like horny like that all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm just.
I kind of pictured it as like a means to the end type of thing.
See, I didn't get that. Maybe.
Okay. Hey, agree.
Hey.
That's agree.
One of us is married.
Yeah.
That's all. So.
But
that's one of us probably knows better than the other one. So that's.
Who knows?
So
none of that shit matters.
But I don't know. I didn't think. I thought their relationship was actually like very realistically for people of their age.
I can see that.
I thought was very. That's what I thought was interesting. It's like, yeah. It's like, hey man, we're not Romeo and Juliet over here.
That's
it's
fair.
Like, hey,
that's fair.
You want to get something to eat? Hey, you got that information?
I can see that. Okay,
come on.
I'm seeing the angle that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like,
I can see the angle that you're talking about. I kind of like in my head picture like one, she was fine with it, whatever, but like it was like, yeah, it's convenient enough for me to like get more information.
Yeah,
that's kind of the way I interpret it. But I do see the angle you're talking about.
Did you also think it was like when they got the ATM pin numbers? Yeah. Do you think that was just not enough money for what they were doing? Like it's like
$200 a week.
$200 a week. It's like, I mean,
it is Mexico.
It is Mexico.
It is Mexico.
But still, I feel
that's
like it's not enough.
It's not enough to kidnap.
For like this conspiracy web for me to be loyal for $200. You know what I mean?
But I
like
guess
if I'm on the low end,
if you're like a bouncer at the rave and you're already a scumbag and you got nothing going on, it's like
yes,
that's
you're
not
right.
200. It's like
I guess so.
That guy's already a piece of shit. So like for him, it's like a normal person like me or you would be like, nah, this isn't enough for me to sell my soul.
Yeah, $200.
But like for a scumbag, yeah, 200, yeah, cool. What I gotta do? Grab a little bitch? All right, cool.
All right, fine.
Yeah, he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy.
No, he's not. Also, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Yeah. Mark Anthony's pretty good in this movie.
Really good in this.
I didn't think he was gonna. I mean, there's some scenes that like when he's screaming like, "You left me dead. I did this for us, Lisa."
Yeah,
like I'm like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
But most of the time he's pretty good.
Well, in this case, you're talking about Mark Anthony, who plays Samuel Ramos in the film, and Radha Mitchell, who I haven't seen in much else after, Lisa Martin Ramos. Mark Anthony has this religious element too, right? Like the film has like this...
The Virgen de Guadalupe.
Exactly. The film has like a religious, I guess, undertone throughout it. Like Creasy reads the Bible. He's able to quote it to the sister at the church and stuff like that. Mark Anthony has a shrine. It's the very same shrine where his father...
Killed himself.
Exactly.
Killed himself.
And there's this recurring theme in the film where like Denzel has this one bullet that like it didn't work.
It misfired. It misfired when he was trying to kill himself.
Right. And then
a bullet never lies.
A bullet never lies. And Denzel says, hey, look, this bullet, it doesn't work for me. Bullets don't lie. You know, again, this religious aspect. Maybe it'll work for you. Because at this point, Denzel has revealed, we're getting towards the end of the film.
Yes.
Denzel has revealed that Mickey
I can still
Rourke...
talk about this for another 3.5 hours.
Of course.
I don't give a fuck. I could watch this and we could Mystery Science Theater it. I don't care. But...
I'm down to do that too.
Yeah.
Denzel has now, because he's going up the chain, he's learning more and more as he's killing all these people. So like after rape, he finds out that like Mickey Rourke is involved. And it's like, okay, so Mickey Rourke was in for $2.5 million. This other guy was in for $2.5 million. What's the other $5 million? Turns out the husband, the Mark Anthony character, set up his own daughter. It was like, well, everyone said it was going to be fine. She was going to watch cartoons. We'll make the money and we'll get out of there. But when we discover this, his wife, the Radha Mitchell character, is like, kill this piece of shit. Like, stole my daughter. There's Pita Ramos, a.k.a. Dakota Fanning. And Denzel gives him, in his shrine, where his own father killed himself, and where a lot of Mark Anthony scenes happen. He gives Mark Anthony a gun with one bullet, the bullet that didn't kill.
Hollow tip.
Yep, himself. And he says, "All right, man, didn't work for me. Maybe it's gonna work for you." Great scene, by the way. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal scene.
Do you think that Denzel was fucking his wife?
Well, I didn't necessarily think that watching the film, but like based off of what we know from the '87 film, where it's implied that like Scott Glenn, not saying they explicitly say he's fucking his wife, but like they have a relationship.
Yeah.
And she's fucking a lot of people in the house already.
Yeah.
You know what? Yes.
I think they were.
Yes, I do actually. I think that
Definitely.
Mark Anthony's character is absentee. He's not really a nice guy to be around. Creasy has this relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what kind of a fucking... They're also terrible.
I think that's why
parents,
she
so.
grabs his bottle. Like she's familiar with where his things are.
Yes.
It's not like she's
been
not
in that room.
right. So like, no, I think he smashed.
Yes. Yeah. Also, there was one aspect that you wanted to bring up about the father of like the religious undertones. Mm-hmm. They do this, and they do kind of the same thing in Dead Poet Society.
Okay.
Of like in that it's the whole idea of carpe diem, and each character does carpe diem wrong.
Right.
Except for like, basically it's Ethan Hawke's character, but I digress.
Sure.
In this, it's like the whole thing of religion. Everyone that's specifically religious kind of does it wrong, except the one who's not religious, which is he's the one that does the whole Christian thing correctly. He's the one that gets retribution. He will not stop, like, despite his wounds, like and then redeems himself by training his own life for that of mankind, for like his fellow brother.
Yeah, like
not a physical, like a love for the future, like the kid that's the future of mankind. Like not like even my wife. Like it's not a romantic thing. It's I'm gonna do this so you could live.
Well, from the Christian perspective, which Creasy knows more than anyone, that everyone has sinned and fallen short of God. Like Creasy knows that his life is stained.
Yes.
This child who has the ability to perhaps overcome that. You know what I mean? We're talking about pure innocence. We're talking about a child. So to himself, and one, the fact that the child was able to help him redeem his own life.
Yes.
He's like, okay, this is more important than me. It works so well.
Yeah, like, especially, I mean, he's swimming in the pool, baptizing himself, cleaning himself of the sins, but you can see the stains of the blood. Mm-hmm. So he's the guy, and even the voice of the people, like the Pharisees and all this other stuff, he's the one standing up again, even though no one's with him.
Right.
He has no one to help him. He's the only person that helps him is the one who's like, no, he has to do this on his own.
Well, I guess if you're going that religious...
I'm just saying you could. I'm saying,
but like if you were, right? Like, look at who we're supposed to be. Like when you look at when Jesus was on the cross, it was the sinner and the thief. You know, like the killer, and the murderer, and the thief, right? Like, Creasy certainly is a murderer or whatever. But like, whatever. That's not the point. But like, the people that are supposed to be good, the cops.
Yes.
Terrible. You know what I mean?
Terrible.
The fathers. Terrible. You know what I mean? Like all the people that are supposed to be the good guys, including the lawyer, I guess.
The lawyer Joe. I mean, he's supposed to protect them legally, and he doesn't.
Right. So like everyone that's and that's what happens to Christ himself in the Old Testament. Is like he comes in on Good Friday. Everyone's willing to big him up, but by Sunday they're ready to kill him. Right? Like
no, that's the opposite. Yeah. They kill him on Good Friday.
Yeah, they kill him. Okay, they kill him on Good Friday.
And then when he resurrects, they're like,
when he first, whatever.
Palm Sunday.
Yeah, Palm Sunday. Thank you. So when he comes in on Palm Sunday, everybody's fucking big fan. You know, like the priest and everything like that. And the minute it's beneficial to everyone else, they're like, this guy, you know, and like Creasy is the only person, even over her own father, who's willing to sacrifice himself for her. And
but he does that because of him. Because he's like, oh, I fucked up. Like, it's not... But Creasy kills him. He sacrifices himself for her.
Sorry, but I'm saying... I'm sorry. Like, maybe I'm not saying it right, but like, exactly.
The father, because of his own guilt.
Right, the father's own guilt. But I mean, like, Creasy is the only person...
Yes. looking out for her.
Right. Besides, I guess.
For innocence, for mankind, for the redemption, for the...
And the least likely of us all is the one who actually has the ability to redeem us all.
Yes.
No, yeah, no, it's...
You want to do it.
Look, it's somewhat like... It's not annoying, like, it's somewhat like heavy-handed in the sense of, like, the religious illusions are clearly there throughout the film. I don't think Tony Scott is hiding the fact that, like, he's doing a Masonic, like, Christ-like figure throughout the film. So. But it's not so fucking heavy-handed that it's like, oh my god.
Yes.
Whereas, like, I think 87 is subject to, like, be really heavy-handed with his themes, but it's so clunky with it.
It's so clunky, and I don't think it's going
that,
for
like,
Masonic.
none of them land. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's more going for Of Mice and Men. But even in Of Mice and Men, spoiler for Of Mice and Men, Lenny gets killed at the end. He does not.
Right.
So what the fuck are you talking about, movie?
Well,
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This is like a freshman literature, intro to literature analysis. Right. And that you're putting these together. Well, basically he's like...
Which is probably
Shut up, stupid.
Which is probably why they quote something that happens in the first 15 pages of the book.
Exactly.
You know, because, like, maybe you guys didn't get to...
Did you not read the whole thing? It's not about mice.
Yeah. Well, that for sure is an element of it, is that, like, the angle that I think they're trying to take, it doesn't land. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's quite stupid, actually.
Mm-hmm. It's silly.
Like Of Mice and Men, there is, which I think, again, if you had Denzel, maybe it would work. Like, there is a sacrifice that happens in Of Mice and Men. Again, spoilers for that book, if you don't want to hear this, but, like, George, who's the protector, in some ways not, but, like, he is ultimately Lenny's protector, who realizes that Lenny's going to go through something horrible, and he doesn't allow it to happen at the expense of his own, not soul, but, like, George has to do something he really doesn't want to do.
No, he doesn't want to do it, but also he knows that Lenny's a burden.
He knows that Lenny's a burden, but also he knows that ultimately, even though Lenny does bad things, because Lenny, I did a bad thing, he doesn't mean it. And, like, that's throughout the film, like, throughout the book, like, anyone that meets Lenny sort of acknowledges that, like, he's actually a nice guy.
Mm-hmm. He's a sweet, sweet man.
And to the point where he is sort of like the dog earlier in the book that, like, you know...
The old dog.
Exactly. So George has to make a choice, and it's a tough choice for him because he's been with Lenny so long in their connection, but he ultimately decides, okay, I'm going to give Lenny the nicest out in this situation as possible. And it's just like a really... I'm trying to think of the wording for this, but, like, it's a somber...
Yeah.
ending, you know, it's like really, happy. It's not happy at all. And, like, this movie decides to give us a happy ending.
Yeah.
But, like, 2004,
it's not really a happy ending.
Gives us, like,
it kind of is, but it's not.
But it's not, like, because I think that, like, ultimately when you go on these types of revenge storyline plots, you're like, oh man, I just hope this guy, like, just does it all. And, like, the fact that, like, we're willing to let, I guess we're at the ending now, right? We're willing to let Denzel die. Good, because I think if they like copped out and made him live, I think the movie kind of fucks up.
Do you know? Did you know the original ending to this? Well, the original ending is he goes and he meets the voice.
Okay.
And he's sitting there talking to him, and it becomes apparent in him talking to him that he has the bomb up his own ass.
Oh, Denzel.
Denzel.
Oh, wow.
And he kills everyone in the room. The brother, the voice, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the other way better.
Yeah, like, because there was a point when he was in the car, like, at the end of the film, I was like, yeah, maybe he could blow himself up. Like,
yeah.
I think that,
but I kind of like the fact that he dies almost like they don't get to kill him. Like, he just dies. Like, he's like, she's free. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Because I haven't seen it in a while, so I was like, oh man, like, that ultimate sacrifice was like, I guess he's willing to let the cartel, you know, do what they will with him.
I kind of wish I saw the bomb in the ass move. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, the bomb in the ass
move.
was
I was going to like it. If he was like, guess what? See what this is?
I'm okay with that ending too, but like I think because they at this point lean so far into this religious sort of element, the fact that he just gives up the ghost.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's finding peace.
Nice. Yeah,
It's finding peace.
with,
Like
with
walking.
the necklace with the saint on it.
Yeah.
Like, it was nice, you know. And yeah, I think either ending would have worked, but like the fact that like he wins, but he doesn't.
Yes, he doesn't win.
He doesn't win.
I mean, he wins to the point of like this guy is better than you, but
Yeah.
he knows it. It's almost impossible to win.
Oh, yeah,
So,
but
he does a damn. He brings it down.
Totally. Which is like again the same credibility we could have given Glenn in '87 was like, okay, like this is a tall order.
Yeah.
You're not going to quite get it across the finish line, but like good enough.
Good enough.
But letting him live at the end with his body bag and the fake thing, and the press comes in and takes photos, and he's dead, and like
I did like that prison though. That they were the prison hospital or whatever they were in.
Mm-hmm.
Army hospital. Just some of the places that they shot in '87 were like, oh, this is cool. I want to go to Italy.
yeah, no, it was definitely a good look.
Yeah, I like it. It was good.
The wedding, like I thought that was.
Oh, that was so good.
Really well
It
shot.
was good. Right at your wedding.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little outdoor.
Outdoory.
It was great. And I mean, where I feel the '87 film works the most is like kind of around Scott Glenn, like Joe Pesci, Danny Aiello, like kind of like begging for us, like
Danny Aiello though.
You know, no, it doesn't make sense that it's him,
children.
but he's one of the more interesting,
I guess,
characters in a film that doesn't have a lot of interesting characters.
There's not. Except Sosa, of course.
Sosa.
Nicky was a rat because Sosa says he was a rat. I like you, Tony. There's no lying in you.
Even like the end of '87, it's hard to follow.
It is. It's a
like,
little bit. The end is like, huh? I had to watch it a couple times because I also kept falling asleep during it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was like, okay.
That's
I
fair.
kept like going. Oh, by the way, it's on Hulu.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I watched it on Plex. Plex free TV.
Then Man on Fire. Oh, it's just so fucking good though. And I like how they bring it all down though. I think that the bomb in the ass though, as much as I'd like to see it, I think that would have been going back to the same well too much. Like it's kind of like I don't know if you've ever seen The Deer Hunter. Like as intense as that movie is with the Russian roulette, they just keep playing Russian roulette. And don't get me wrong, it's very intense every time.
So great.
But it's like okay, we're still going back to the Russian roulette. Okay.
Well, yeah, because like when I was rewatching the ending, again, it's been so long since I watched it. I was like, oh, maybe he's gonna blow himself up in the asshole. Like the fact that it was, like I was thinking that could be the ending. I'm sort of glad that they didn't make it the ending.
Yeah.
Because it just it wasn't exactly what I was expecting.
I remember the first time I saw it with I thought I was too high, and I was like, doesn't the girl live at the end? And I was like, does she? I couldn't remember, and then I saw. Well, then I've seen it several times since, but and then I was like, oh no, she does live.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought I was kind of making it up, you know, like
Yeah.
you know what you do when you're stoned.
And then, I guess it's not a terrible complaint, really. I think because that Denzel sort of scene at the end is so strong, the bridge, sacrificing himself, the girl reacting to the sacrifice, because that scene's so strong, like the way they kind of like actually wrap it up, when that cop who we all thought was kind of dirty.
He's not at all.
He's not. Didn't know. Who knew? When he takes out the voice in a raid later, like he goes to arrest the voice and kills him. But like, it's not like he just like happened to kill him. He was like, oh, fuck you, and just like murders him. It's like, it's fine. Like that. Do we need that scene? Not really.
Not really, no.
You know, it gives us. I guess it gives
you closure.
Yeah, closure is fine. Like, I feel like sometimes movies want to give me closure when I don't need it. I don't think I needed it here, but it also wasn't like egregious, and I felt like that cheapens the film. I was like, no, I'm cool.
I don't think it cheapens the film. I think it makes it because he already got him.
Yeah, exactly.
He already killed him.
It's just like extra. It's like for the people that need that, it's there. But for me, like I already got what I needed from the film at the exchange.
I was glad. No, I was glad to see it because at the same time he's so cool in this movie that you don't want anyone to get the better of him.
Yeah,
throughout the whole thing.
That's fair.
The only person I want to get better of him, Jack Daniels. That's it. He's the only person I want.
True. And he even beat Jack Daniels, which is it was a close fight.
It was a close fight. And he lets that bird go.
Yeah, the bird, that was great. But even the bird, like as goofy as the bird scene is, when he's talking to Peter across from the windows. It's like, yeah, let him go. And, like, that was another element for them to, like, relate. I'm just glad that in 2004, Denzel and Dakota Fanning's relationship was just able to be, like, a guardian...
Mentor.
Exactly. Yeah. And, like, when the girl got elevated, it was with the swimming and with, like, the fact that she's taking notes.
Yes.
Right? Other than that, she's just an innocent little girl.
Yeah, she's not. There's not a sexual undertone to any of it.
Nope.
So
never implied.
It's like,
doesn't feel like.
Might
it.
as well be his daughter.
Yeah.
Like
in a ways, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it is. Which is also why he's banging mom as well.
Yeah. But also when he's like having the question is like, oh, what's my love life? What like it's ancient. This is Creasy history. No, that's ancient history. It's going on like the whole thing. That I think they also improvised too.
Yeah.
But he's also saying about how he Then she's like, it's like, oh, I saw you smile. He's like, I didn't smile. No, I didn't smile. Like, okay, so, in the next 15 seconds, who will smile first? Who's going to smile first? And he's playing that. And like, and he's like,
that's a smirk.
That's a smirk.
That's a smirk.
Like, and he's going, it's so good. Mm-hmm. It's so good because it's like the way you talk to a fucking kid.
Of course.
Yeah, it's so good.
And like,
you know, a kid you don't want to fuck.
And you got, yeah, of course, don't fuck the kid. And he's like this jaded character getting broken down. Because like at a certain point, even like us, like we're like dudes that like walked the planet, done all kinds of crazy shit. Like, but like if a kid like that came up to me and like was being all cute and shit,
yeah.
What, am I gonna be mad the whole time?
Like, yeah, we're gonna learn. We're gonna fucking be good swimmers, kid. Like you're gonna learn.
It's great. Yeah, that too. It was like, you know, maybe another character be like, you know, you don't always win. He's like, nah, fuck that.
No, fuck that. You win. It is not okay to lose.
Yeah.
Like, it is not okay. Also, I love that it's the way they do it. It's like it's not. He doesn't know shit about swimming.
Right.
Like, he doesn't know shit about it. And the only thing he knows to get off the. Don't be afraid of the gun. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. That's great. I can teach you that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know shit about the Taekwondo, but if you fucking, all I know is this. And if I teach you how to do that better than anyone else, it's fine. Yeah. And it's like, and the same thing with the running. It's like, what the fuck you know about running, man?
The running shit was like,
it's stupid. Also, it's like, this is clearly like, this is like recess. Yeah. This is not like, this is a fucking meet.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like, this is extracurricular. Like, if you win, you fucking move up.
Yeah. Even like in the running scene, like the way it breaks down the first scene, was like, why is everyone on the fucking ground? Like, what happened?
Exactly.
Like,
there's so many fucking like soccer falls. In that fucking, some NBA LeBron flops on there.
It is the this running sequence is so much of the original film.
Come on.
It's disturbing. It's like, what are we doing? How much time do we need to watch this chick train? Like, I felt like when Denzel, every time he was teaching her, none of that time felt wasted. It felt like
not at all. I could watch a whole movie of that.
It felt very useful.
A whole movie
to the storyline.
Yes, I didn't think it was overplayed.
Getting the blocks,
with the blocks, and then there's no fear in the gun.
Yeah, yeah, and like tied back into his own shit. Like, yo, the gun. You're not a slave to the gun.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so brilliant. It's so layered. It works so well.
Good.
And just like the old, like, what the fuck you know about swimming? Nothing.
Nothing.
It doesn't matter. I know what you got to jump off that.
Yeah.
You got to do it fast.
So good.
Ha! That's it. Oh, it's so good. Well,
so
this has been Man on Fire.
Then, should the remake exist? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. The original should not. I mean, the original, fuck that. Like, it's so stupid. The remake, absolutely. This is hands down. There's not one aspect other than Joe Pesci's hair that is better than the original.
Yeah,
not
Joe
one.
Pesci's hair was great. Yeah.
But even that's at the expense of Walken. No, Walken's better.
Walken is better.
Walken's better.
I appreciate what Pesci did, and I actually was like very
he's okay.
Pleased with like what he was able to do in the film.
Very Moonwalker-ish in this.
That's true. That's true. But like, I felt like this remake was Tony Scott being like,
Yes. Listen, boys, I'm the man on fire now.
I originally had something like this in my head.
Yeah.
Before you hired that fucking
Yeah,
guy.
that was a good idea.
Yeah.
You had fucking 17 years
I guess
ago.
I was too young. I didn't, quite.
Have you seen Top Gun?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, nah, I mean like.
On for October? No?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
It's so good though. Just the way it's shot, it's so good. Everything about it, from the direction, the writing, the believability of all the characters.
The balls to cast Denzel Washington.
Yes.
And then
this
the
is his best
dividends
movie.
that get paid off for it. Like, I don't question
1 second.
any decision
Not
that's
one.
made in the movie.
Not one.
The only thing I could say, and I say this about everything, so it's like not even a real statement at this point. I always think things could be shorter, but like that's only...
No, not even on this.
No, I mean like every element of him getting more information towards the back end actually pays off every single time. Everything that they do pays off, and it's fucking worth it.
Oh, it's so good.
It's a great movie.
It's a great film. If
a
you
great
haven't
movie.
seen it, go see it. And just see the Denzel one.
Yeah.
Don't bother with the...
No,
Don't bother with the Scott Clemens.
Don't worry with kind of tough John Lennon. He's not.
I'm from Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't know. The original Man on Fire. It left a lot on the table. And I feel like the relationship with the girl just makes it feel weird, and you could just be watching a better movie.
It's so creepy.
You could, You could be watching a better movie at any point that you're watching the original Man on
It's
Fire.
like when you could watch...
Taxi Driver's got a better revenge plot.
Yeah.
Man on Fire 2004 just does everything so much better than that.
Europe, it's better on Taken.
Shit, Europe's better than Road Trip.
Although, I mean, Italy did look awesome.
It did. There's some decent shots, but a lot of shots that get like reused over and over again in terms of like they constantly do the like a car's going by and you don't see what happens, and
again, it's done better in...
Yeah, and they
Man on
do it in
Fire.
2004 and to a much better effect. So yeah. Original film not so good. The remake just lets you know that the director of the remake should have been the director of the original. Mm-hmm. And this is the one time I think we've gotten to say this.
Yes.
It's very
With the exception of maybe LA Takedown and Heat.
Right,
Which is the same.
No, that was just... Yeah, I think, but that was a budget problem.
I know, it was a book, but still. It definitely should, the remake should exist.
The remake should exist.
So, speaking of remakes, next week, or next time.
So, you're on the heater, by the way. You've come up with some really good films. You were in charge of the Scrooge Christmas Carol, Muppets Christmas Carol film, which was amazing for Christmas. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It was your idea to watch this particular film. Great choice.
I love it.
I'm actually stealing one that you already recommended, but
that's fine.
I was taking a shit today, guys, and I was reading an article because Pamela Anderson is back in the zeitgeist again because she's got like a Netflix series that's like a documentary. She's doing a memoir, and I was reading an article about a film called Barbed Wire. Barbed Wire is available on Netflix until the end of the month, so good luck. Watch it quickly because we're going to be talking about it. Our next film, which is actually your original recommendation from the first episode Dan was on, he said, we should watch Casablanca and Barbed Wire. I thought he was talking about softcore porn, and I was like, damn, that's not what we do here. But that is what we do here, and we're going to watch Casablanca and Barbed Wire on the next episode of Retro vs. Remake. Weirdly, they're connected.
They are.
They're
it's a remake.
It counts. I
it counts.
Read the bylaws, and it counts.
It counts. It sure does.
Holy shit.
It's a bylaw.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too.
It's going to be nice.
I'm going to watch this Barbed Wire this time with the sound on and not being 13 years old or 12 years old I was when I watched it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Hell yeah. Well, that was
that was this week's episode.
That was Man on Fire. Hey.
Oh, fuck it. I could talk about this for another 2.5 hours.
Please, any comments that you guys want to throw in on this, please let us know. If you thought that for some reason the original film was better, please look, I'll hear an argument.
Or if you want to throw in why Mice of Men is important to their fucking...
Yes, if you could explain
Go ahead. I don't...
Steinbeck in
Well, Steinbeck's great, but it's... Why? I know Mice of Men is great. Just how that square peg fits in this round hole. I don't know.
Maybe. You explain it.
Yeah.
I haven't smoked enough yet. Alright, well, this is Retroverse Remake. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play probably. Instagram, Twitter. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Really appreciate you guys watching. Cause,
we really do.
Every time I look at the view count, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Astonished. This
is Reggie Parker.
Go ahead.
At RP Comedy on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm Dan Farley at Dan Farley 18 on Instagram and Jersey Dan 18 on Twitter.
Next episode, Barbed Wire in Casablanca. We'll see you there.
Yes.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Of all the gin joints.
Alright.
Beautiful.
Hey, that was fucking great.
That was great. Oh, dude, I love that.